She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and America too. She's a good girl, she's crazy about Elvis, love horses, and a boyfriend too. It's a long day living in Reseda. There's a freeway running through the yard. I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy, breaking her heart. So we just administered some medicine for a skin disease called ORF, which the reason we're all kitted up is because it's quite contagious for humans as well. So if we have cuts on our hands or our skin, we can actually get this sort of bacterial skin disease. So we rubbed some cream in the little guy and then sprayed him with a disinfectant. The disinfectant is blue, so I think farmers know who they've disinfected it of a big herd. Obviously that's less relevant now, but it was over there. He's quite happy. Yeah. And these guys have been enjoying it as well.
And pretty.
Yeah. My name is Ben Palmer Fry and these are my Rewilding Diaries. I'm on the road in my camper van Jemima with my dog Otto, exploring wild places, finding wildlife, getting a taste for what a more self-sufficient, more adventurous but more peaceful life is like. And the good girls are home with broken hearts. Now I'm free falling. Some friends and I have just been asked to help out clearing some land up on this guy's property in the Yorkshire Dales. His name is John, and we're just going to go up and just been having a break, and I'm going to go up and carry on. But he's got something really interesting to show us, actually, a land management practice. Name in the sky, I'm gonna free fall into nothing, gonna leave this world for a while. Now I'm free falling. Now we just so Tom brought us here. We're clearing some gorse for you, which I've always seen like clearing the land like of this kind of stuff as a bit of a negative, because I'm like, you're getting rid of ground cover, right?
You're right.
So explain to me what, like, you told me about planting trees and the young gorse, and so tell me about your vision.
Well, since I've had the land here, I've been slowly planting trees. So on this, and it's only 15 acres, it's only a small holding really. We've got all sorts of species of trees, mainly native trees, but not necessarily so. One or two conifers, which are interesting, that sort of thing. So it's important, if you have a piece of land and you want to attract nature, to have what's known as a mosaic of habitats, all sorts of things where animals and birds can sort of live. Now, beyond in that direction, you have a field with gorse, and a little bit of elder in it, where blackbirds have sat there and dropped the drop the seeds of elder. And
how have they dropped them?
They poo.
They poo. Natural dispersal.
Birds do poo.
So that's just really good ground cover for birds, right?
Absolutely, and that will stay. That won't be touched at all.
Okay. So you're leaving that as is.
Yep, absolutely.
And here we've got what was a big area of gorse like that, right?
Just like that.
Okay. So
and I know it seems odd, but I'm now clearing this. But if you look at the ground where it's being cleared, there's no other vegetation at all. And that's really good. If you're planting trees, there's no competition.
Okay.
So for a while, you protect them from sheep and other things that want to sort of nibble them down.
Yeah.
But after a while, the gorse, which we're not completely eliminating, we're just cutting down, known as a system of coppicing.
Okay.
It will sprout off again.
Yeah.
And it will cover the ground. That will that will stop the sheep from grazing, and so it'll be natural protection for the trees.
Yeah.
After a while,
which I can see some young gorse over there, and there's this old stuff is actually like you can kind of touch it. It's spiky, but it's not crazy.
Yeah, no.
But the young gorse is fierce, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so the sheep don't actually touch that.
Yeah.
So that really works well.
That's amazing, because like my friends often who have doing sort of land-based projects or like rewilding projects or letting natural regeneration happen, they're always struggling against like rabbit grazing, against sheep grazing, against deer grazing, and I obviously see those plastic tubes. So you've got, just let me get this straight, you've got sort of a ready piece of land because the gorse has kept the grass away.
That's right.
So you haven't got competition. Tree goes in, you keep some.
I do put some
plastic around it to start with, just to give it a good start. Yeah.
Then the gorse will
grow
up
and
again.
that creates a natural barrier.
Then you can take the protection off.
Yeah.
And the tree is just left.
And the tree will grow more healthily because it's not in this tube anyway.
They do, because here you're on a south-facing slope, so it gets lots of sun, so it grows well, but it's windy.
Yeah, we're in the Yorkshire Dales, right?
Trees really grow strong when they're blown around.
I see.
When you get movement, the tree reacts to that movement, making the trunk strong.
Like our bones.
Just exactly.
Just like stressing your bones, it makes them stronger.
Just exactly like that.
John, this is awesome. Now this looks a bit like beer time.
Now this
is so welcome.
This is the sort of
mate. After your own heart.
I just like to see. This is what I call mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Well, mate, that is great. So, chainsaw, loppers, and manual saw. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Guys, that is so good. Go on. So I've made it up to the Outer Hebrides, which are the islands that are way on the northwest coast of Scotland, and I'm on the Isle of Lewis at the moment, and there's just gorgeous white sand beaches everywhere, crystal clear water, just reasonably cold. There's incredible ancient mountains of granite and other metamorphic rocks. But just on the beach here, there's a great example of some type of worm that I've always grown up looking at. So check it out. So that there is the cast of something called a lugworm. Lugworms are used a lot by fishermen. They dig them out of the ground and they use them as bait. Now, they're about they can be up to they're regularly about my hand span and can get up to about almost like 30 centimeters long. They're about that round, but they're very red. They're very rich in I think hemoglobin. I think there are some medical applications of them, but they're quite bristly. They breathe really through these bristles and feathery gills on their skin. But I'll just show you about these little burrows. It's quite cool. So you've got the cast there, and see there's a little depression here. Now that is the mouth of the burrow. So if you imagine that's the surface of the sand and the burrow's like this, it's a big U shape like that. Now the worm sits in it about here, and its tail goes up here. So imagine this is the worm here. Now what it does, it eats through the sand here and passes sand through its body, filtering it for microorganisms and other food particles, and excretes the sand up in what we see as the worm cast at the top. So that's the tail end, that's the head end, and that's why, because it eats the sand gently runs down and you end up with a funnel shape, which is what we're seeing there. You can see them all over the beach, and if you ever need to catch any fish, dig them out, get yourself a lugworm. A little fish swimming upstream here. He's amazing. Look, he's not really responding very much to me being nearby. Look. He seems to like hiding in the sand when it's kicked up, so that it provides him with more cover. He's obviously a youngster. I wonder if it's like a young trout. I don't really know my fish very well. Also, stop it. Look. You know it is, it's a young brown trout. You can see the dapples on its back. There's a little fish in here. I'm seeing, oh gosh. Ah no, I'm sinking in my water. Ah, I got soaked.